What's up, Rapids fans? And on this week's edition of The Rundown presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, the Rapids fall to San Diego on the weekend, but quickly turn the page looking ahead to Rocky Mountain Cup. And we'll go off the pitch with Rapids Unified head coach Molly Underley. Let's get into it. What's up, Rapids fans, and welcome to the Colorado Rapids podcast and this week's edition of The Rundown presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. I am your host, Mike Ravolo, alongside my good friend and resident Rapids legend, Drew Moore. Drew B, always so good to see you to start my day. How are you doing, brother?
Wow. It's great to see you to start my day as well.
Right back at you, brother.
I haven't heard anybody say that before, but
hey, there's a first time for everything. That goes for me too.
Nobody needs to start their day that way. No, I'm doing well actually. My boys went back to school today. First day back to
the school grind.
Yeah, back to the.
I'm sure they dread it.
They weren't super looking forward to it. They're 5th and 3rd grade now, so they're old enough to know that the first day is cool, but they've got like 130 after that
it's all downhill
exactly
from there.
At least that's how that's how they look at it. But no, I do feel like summer is now coming to an end. I know we still have a few more weeks till the actual season that is summer, but when the kids start going back to school, which I know a lot of parents are grateful / just ready for
Drew
that.
is more grateful than anybody.
It's been a great summer. It has, but now games are just as important, but they just have that feel that they're a little bit more important. You're starting to tick them off as they go, and this is the time of year where it feels like it really starts to pick up, and the games come at you quick and fast, and they're all important and have that little bit more of a feeling of importance. And we're getting into that starting this weekend.
Dude, I mean, more weight, more significance with the games that come as we're getting to the playoff stretch or hoping to get into playoffs, as be it the Rapids or anybody, quite frankly, in the league. But in terms of like change of the seasons, I'm over 90 plus degrees every
hot.
single day. Just getting cooked by the sun every single day and not able to walk. So I'm looking forward to like much cooler weather, just hanging out. I'm an old man in this sense, in that I love when it's the right time to have like soup, like a proper good stew. I'm an old man. I kid you not. Like
you're an old soul. You're an old soul.
I'm an old man, brother. Let's be real about it.
Okay, fine. You said it.
So hey, we've established that we're two viejos here, so I can't really say otherwise.
We should do our own podcast called Dos Viejos.
Can we is it too late to rebrand the podcast?
No, we'll keep this one. This one's awesome.
Either way, on the Colorado Rapids podcast, two viejos that we have here, we enjoy what we do. Looking forward to the change in the seasons, especially with kids going back to school, since they're not in your hair as much.
Not as much.
But nonetheless, true. I'm doing well, thankfully. Yeah,
Good.
Plenty to look forward to. As we said, we're talking hopefully playoffs. It's going to come very quickly.
Yep.
Change of the season, whatever have you. Plenty to look forward to, Drew. However, something I'm not exactly looking forward to here.
Well, we're looking back, technically, right?
Yes. Technically looking back. Yeah. Nonetheless, not looking forward to it, but we have to do the business part of things here on the podcast. Looking back on the match that was on the weekend for the Rapids between San Diego and the Colorado Rapids. So let's just quickly go through the highlights and put a quick recap onto this match here. The second time these two sides are facing each other, Drew. The first time was the first game out of the World Cup break here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, where the Rapids won 1-0. Hopefully looking to get another win, but here in Snapdragon Stadium. Now moving ahead here, Drew, into the first half where the Rapids in possession, but the ball just gets away from Rob Holding. San Diego punish.
Yeah, and it was after a very bright start to this match for the first 26 minutes. And Reggie and Rob, they just don't quite get it right, and you're going to get punished against good teams, a good player like Valakari when you miss out on it. And I think, and we're going to see a good save here from Nico Hansen on this strike. He sees it well. It's a lot of venom on that strike from Bombino, but I don't like our reaction after we did concede, because we were really good up to that point, and then give up this opportunity, and then relatively quickly after that, a second goal where, again, just don't get it right in our own box, and Ashuri, pounces on, the loose ball, and it's frustrating, kind of, when you just see this part. But it was really, for me, the overall response after the first goal to find ourselves 2-0 down going into halftime.
Moving ahead here, Drew, into the 71st minute where San Diego just insisting on the issue, looking to seal the deal against the Rapids. And sure enough, as they work their way into the box, they do 3-0 with Gabriel Pirani scoring.
Yeah, and just we don't defend this transition well enough with 20 minutes to go and you still have a bit of life. This all but ended it and took away any opportunity to get back into this match, although Luik Williams does test Dos Santos here on the header. It's a great ball from Keegan Rosenberry, but kind of too little too late at this point, and a frustrating loss after a really good stretch of matches at home to go on the road and against a team that's really close in the standings to us to lose 3-0, I think was pretty frustrating, Mike.
Yeah, pretty frustrating on the night for everyone with the Colorado Rapids. So as we mentioned there, 3-0 to San Diego on the night in Snapdragon Stadium. Looking at some of the match stats here, Drew, total shots between the two sides. So San Diego had 6, Colorado had 8. Shots on target, 4 for San Diego, 2 for Colorado. Corner kicks, 2 for San Diego, 3 for Colorado. And finally, possession, 49% for San Diego versus 51% for Colorado. So, Drew, I know you were kind of mentioning some of your thoughts a little bit on the match there as we were going through the highlights, but to ask it more pointedly, your general thoughts on the match on the weekend.
Pretty similar to, when I was going through the highlights, a really good start where we were passing extremely well, moving San Diego around. Not quite as dangerous in the attacking third as we would have liked because we did have some opportunities to punish San Diego early on in that match. But you see on the goals conceded when, you just miss out on, some of the mental lapses. It wasn't overall play. It wasn't style of play mistakes. It was kind of our energy, our body shape, our, positioning on the field that actually is what leads to these goals. You can go watch the video and be like, oh, mistake here, mistake there, mistake here. But it was really kind of some of this stuff, the little things that led to making those mistakes then, right? And then we get punished against a good side like San Diego, right? And so I think you're frustrated in that vein. But it was a good start. The second half, we started extremely well also. But I think it's again, you have to reiterate when you're just off on some plays, when you just don't quite get it right, you're going to get punished in this league, Mike.
Yeah, and as you mentioned during the highlights, especially against a team like San Diego, there's very few teams, if any, in this league that'll let you get away with moments like that.
Right.
And as we saw, it was as bad as it could be, honestly, for the Rapids in that sense. This is something that you were mentioning, Drew, as going through the highlights, and I'll even reference Reggie Cannon post-game in the press conference, what he cited in terms of not reacting well to certain moments of adversity or negative moments that the Rapids dealt with, particularly with the first goal, because once the first goal happened for San Diego, it felt like the Rapids could not really get things going again, find their rhythm, and do what they know they're capable of doing, right? Because they just didn't react well they felt they didn't react well enough to the adversity that presented themselves. So with that, Drew, I'm going to ask you to kind of be back in your player mindset a little bit when you're in the locker room and you're dealing with moments like that, whether it's you're going in at halftime and need to send a message to the rest of the group to get them going again, or if it's post game and try to take away what you can from a match like that where you don't react as well as you would like against moments of adversity. What are you saying? What are you thinking? How do you manage that sort of situation where you feel like you're not reacting the way you should to negative moments throughout the match?
I think it's important, Mike, regardless of the scoreline, regardless of your run of form, that you're true to yourself and who you are. And we know what this team can be, And I think you referenced Reggie in his post-match presser. I'm going to reference Matt Wells in his presser, but also in the game debrief video this morning, which I was in. And he had a pop at them, right? About as animated as I've ever seen him, because I think Matt knows what this side can be. These players, Reggie, they know what this side can be, right? And you can't be frustrated. You can't be a different side. You can't let the conditions of the match, regardless of whether you're at home or on the road, regardless of whether you're winning or not, change who you are and what you do and really just your identity, right? And I think that affected us against San Diego because you started extremely well and then you concede and you look like a different side for the next 10 or 15 minutes where you then concede a second goal. And this now becomes unacceptable type territory because it's a long road back on the road against San Diego when you concede that second one, right? But the bigger thing is not the mistakes that you see on these goals that we conceded in the first half. It was the response, the energy, it's a prideful group. You have to be proud. You have to have a bit of an ego, but you have to have some humility as well to be like, we got to roll our sleeves back up and be who we are and play with that energy and play with that identity regardless of what's going on the field. And so what I'm saying to people is, let's be us. Let's hit the pause button here and say, yeah, we've made a mistake. It's going to happen. Yeah, we've conceded goals. It's going to happen, but it can't change who we are from the inside out.
Easier said than done.
Of course,
I would say,
for
Drew.
sure,
Listen, you've been in those. I mean, you've for a number of years you played in this league and been in those situations multiple times, right? Easier said than done. Sometimes it's not your night. Like the fact that the ball rolls under Rob Holding and leads to the first. Like it just sometimes it's just not.
You're
your
not going
night.
to see that from Rob Holding more than probably once a year.
Exactly. Like especially from someone like him with his experience having been in the Premier League with Arsenal, like that. But sometimes it's just not your night. Like that, like bad luck is also a part of it, right? Whether bad luck on the Rapid side in this instance, good for San Diego, right? On any given night, it could be the other way around, right? So luck is part of it. I don't want to lean too much into that because that makes it sound like an excuse on the Rapid side, right? Because the coaching staff and the players would, if anything, they would not make the excuse for themselves at the end of the day. Like Reggie acknowledged it post game, Matt Wells acknowledged it post game. Like the reactions were just not good enough, and they felt it was not good enough against the first goal, let alone just kind of throughout the match. But even having said that, as we talk about, Drew, even with losses like this, right? Like this one stung a little bit, all things considered, of the good run of form that the Rapids were on, having beaten San Diego early on, just a few weeks in the season, that you feel this Rapid side is just so capable of much more. But that because the standard is so high.
That's it, yeah.
Not because people are telling them, you guys need to be better, or someone else. That's the expectations they set on themselves as players and as a coaching staff. Yeah. No one needs to tell them that they did this wrong or they did this right. They know what they did right and they know what they did wrong. They know that the standard for them is up here. So for me, at least, the takeaway, the result was bad. There was some bad luck involved along the way. They didn't do themselves favors in how they reacted to certain moments, particularly the first goal. But we know what this Rapid side is capable of when they stick to who they are.
Yeah, and I think we can acknowledge that it's easier said than done to respond. But we can also acknowledge that the great teams do that. They do respond, right? They do continue to be who they are and lead first with their identity. And that's what this team is capable of being. And that would be my test. That would be my challenge to these players. Like, yeah, it's easier said than done. I can sit here with a microphone in front of me and, on Tuesday morning and say it, but it's our responsibility, myself included, the players, the staff, everybody to respond when it's time to respond.
Yeah, listen, not the result that anybody was looking for, right? But it comes down to how are the Rapids going to respond to this at the end of the day, right? Even though we were talking more about in-game moments when things are happening in the moment, but this is also part of it. Like, how do you come up to training on Monday morning? How do you show up and exude energy and positivity to not just for yourself, but for the rest of the group to be able to move on from that result and look ahead, especially we're going to get into it later, the big one, the big game that we have here on the weekend against Real Salt Lake. Anything else, Drew? Honestly, like, I think there isn't too much to take away from this match other than the fact that the Rapids didn't do themselves favors on the night. In some instances, a little bit of bad luck involved along the way. And it's just, you just need to move on.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and it has to do with responding, the Rapids haven't lost 2 consecutive in months. They have responded extremely well from defeat, right? They've shown their character. They've shown their identity. They have not lost 2 in a row. And I don't know what it goes back to. Maybe early in this season, but since at least early May, anytime they've lost, they've won the very next match, right? And that's the sign of very good character. And we want to continue that theme, obviously, because we had won 3 in a row, which was a great sign. Now you face adversity. How do you respond to it? We'll see.
Yep. And like we said, big test on the weekend coming up. So I think, that'll do it for that recap of San Diego. Like you said, there's always something to take away, even from losses like this, Drew. Yeah. And so, as you mentioned,
I do want to give one player a shout out.
Sure. Yeah.
And not necessarily just San Diego, but somebody who's been so good since coming here. Yeah. Is Loic Williams for me. Yeah. How good has he been?
Tremendous. True.
Tremendous. Yeah. Even in a 3-0 defeat on the road, it's it's like you're going to talk about a center back. I think Loic has been fantastic. Lucas Harrington, we lose him for a very good reason, but Loic has stepped in and done everything that you could have possibly asked for him, both on and off the field. And I think he has really solidified not just his role within this side, but defensively, just the way he carries himself, the way he demands the best from everybody around him. We always talk about kind of notable players from performances and from matches here. It's hard to choose one from the San Diego, to be completely honest, but even in the second goal, Loic, can he be stronger in the aerial duel? But he's been fantastic for me.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that, Drew, and say that Loic, he's been nothing but class ever since he's been here, right? Like in the moments that I've been able to just interact with him and talk to him, get to know him a little bit, and when everybody sees on the pitch of what he's able to do on the pitch, on both sides of the ball, man. We pretty good, I would say, man. Like as a Spanish player, for me, like if this will make sense, I think to you, hopefully for the viewers and listeners, like he's the best of both worlds of what you have in a player, right? So coming from Spain, you expect them to really be technically good on the ball with their touches and their passes and everything. But Loic also has that little bit of grind and grit to him, where like if he's gonna leave, he might leave a push on you or a shove or he'll leave a little something on you. Like I would hate to be a forward or midfielder playing against him, because even if he earns the foul or even takes a yellow, you're not going to forget. Like he's going to be there, and you're going to have to deal with him the whole game. Yeah. So Loic, that's where I mentioned the best of both worlds that he had, where he's good on the ball, but if he needs to get a little dirty, a little rough, he can do that as well, man. And he's shown it time and time again for folks here the few games we've had him here so far at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, ever since he's featured for the Rapids. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Just wonderful to have someone like that with his ability and he's got a little fire to him as well, man, with his personality. Like you love seeing that in a player, because it gets everybody else going, whether it's teammates, the fans, obviously in the stadium. Like people respond to that. So, despite the result, despite how things went down on the weekend against San Diego, I do love that shout of Loic, because he's been tremendous for this group, literally ever since he's walked through the doors here at the Colorado Rapids. So. Anything else for that match?
Now let's move on.
Yeah, okay, we can move on.
Let's turn the page.
So yes, we will quickly turn the page here, moving on from that match on the weekend, and go ahead to around the club. One little item, I say little, but actually a very big item, because it's, again, around our friends with Rapids Unified.
Yep.
A very big item, because it is not just the Rapids first team competing on the weekend against RSL for Rocky Mountain Cup, but Rapids Unified will also be competing against RSL Unified for their version of Rocky Mountain Cup. Rapids Unified currently holds the trophy. Yep. We hope that will be the case, continues to be the case for at least another year. So they will be playing after the first team match on Saturday night here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So please, please, please stay afterwards to support Rapids Unified, because they are just as important as the first team here at the Colorado Rapids. At least that's how we treat our Rapids Unified team, because we just love them that much. They're wonderful to be around. They're wonderful to get behind, easy to get behind and support. And I'm any excuse for me to be around that team, I'm going to find it. So I best believe I will be there, unless I have other post-game commitments, which I'm worried I might have. But you be there nonetheless to support Rapids Unified after the first team match on Saturday.
2 Rocky Mountain Cup trophies up for grabs
big
on Saturday night. And we plan on both of them staying here in Colorado. That trophy is just important to that group as well, right? Like their vibe is immaculate, unbelievable, right? But they're also competitive, and they want to win Rocky Mountain Cup just as badly as the first team wants to. So it should be a tasty, tasty Saturday.
It's a big night here in Rapids land. So yeah, make sure you're here. Obviously for the game, I will mention the tune-in info later as we get into the preview for the RSL match. But make sure you're here for both games, for the first team and most importantly for Rapids Unified post game after the first team match. So speaking of Rapids Unified, we're going to go off the pitch.
Yes, we are.
With someone from Rapids Unified, particularly the head coach, Molly Underley. So let's go off the pitch with Rapids Unified head coach, Molly Underley. All right, everybody, we're going off the pitch with our good friend. And I would say club legend, almost, Drew.
Yes,
I think it's fair to say
100%.
Rapids Unified head coach, Molly Underley. Molly, we are ecstatic. We're not thrilled. We're ecstatic to have you here, because Drew and I always talk about on the pod how excited we get when Rapids Unified just comes into the fold, like when their season gets started, when we get to be around them, when we do the staff versus Rapids Unified. Any excuse for us to be around Rapids Unified, we're trying to find it, because we just love being around this group. We're obviously very well versed in Rapids Unified lore, if you will, But for those maybe who don't know, have never heard of Rapids Unified for whatever reason, if you've listened to this pod, I don't know how you haven't up to this point. Could you just like give a quick primer and understanding of what exactly Rapids Unified is, Molly?
Sure. So it is made up of people with intellectual disabilities that we call athletes, and then people who don't have intellectual disabilities are partners. And they have to try out. It's a pretty extensive tryout process. One day, just lots of drills and events that happen, and they come together and play soccer, which is amazing. Most of the MLS teams have a unified team, so we will play the other unified teams, which is really special, but it's a way to showcase people with disabilities and through soccer, which is like the best format for all of the things that happen. And it's a chance to come together and celebrate what we bring to the table and forget about the struggles and differences that we have.
And Molly, you've done this for a little while now. You've been head coach for a little while.
Been around for a few
How many
years.
years?
So I started in 2015
Okay.
as a partner, and then I was coaching. I've been coaching since that time. There was like 2 or 3 years that they went a different route with a school team, but then been involved, and I don't know how many years I've been a head coach, but a few.
And so you gave me a little bit, but like, how did you first come across the opportunity?
So I was working with a local program, and the information about the Rapids Unified team came across, and she's like, I think this would be really great. I wasn't working for Special Olympics at the time, so it was just my involvement with a community team. And so from that moment, I've been involved, and it's become a lifeline for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned that it's athletes and partners, right? How important do you think it is for both the athletes and the partners to have this unique experience?
I think it is life-changing. I don't know how else to explain it besides life-changing, but I think the opportunity to play soccer at a higher level is very present because we have a lot of community teams locally, but this elevates it to a much higher level. So sometimes for the athletes who need a little bit more or are a little bit more competitive, this is a great space for them. And it becomes truly about a lifestyle, I think, more than just being on the Rapids Unified team. And I always say Special Olympics was created for athletes, but it's really the partners that help continue to drive the success. And for many of our partners, they've never done anything with Special Olympics before. They're great soccer players. They're probably great humans. They are great humans. I've gotten to meet and be around a lot of them. But then combining the two is just a different space that isn't offered in other areas.
Yeah.
I think back, Molly, to when I first got to know you and really sat down with you and understood how you wanted to approach this Rapids Unified group. And while you, at the end of the day, you want both your partners and your athletes to enjoy this incredibly unique experience, I know for you there's a little bit more to it than just enjoying the experience, that you want them to be able to take away something from this experience of being in the first team locker room, playing on the pitch at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So while you want them to enjoy the experience, what else are you looking for partners and athletes to get out of being a part of Rapids Unified?
I think it represents so much more in that we have to figure out ways for everyone to contribute to their local communities, societies, and how do we make a difference? And so that's how I approach the season is you are representing yourself, your families, the Rapids Special Olympics, but it becomes so much more than that. And that's what I ask them to be vulnerable to do and to experience is how can I make a difference for my community, for my school, for my team, and transfer that on to life? How do I become a lifelong learner? How do I stay involved? How do I put the things that may be difficult on a daily basis to come together for something greater than myself? I think it represents so much more than just soccer, and that's really how I approach this.
Well, we're very happy and able to facilitate having Rapids Unified. You got to have the right people to be able to
100%.
kind of conduct this, right? And that's where Drew, I would say Molly's kind of
Thank you.
epitomizes that. That's why the Rapids Unified group, I think, is what it is, because again,
Thank
I
you.
mentioned, it's more than just enjoying the experience, but be able to take something more away from it, and how do you contribute and help others as well, particularly with the athletes and the partners. So I absolutely
Thank
love
you.
that. That's the one thing I always remember from the first time I ever got to talk to you and get to know you and how you went about it, and that always stuck in my mind, which I asked that question, but for everybody else to be able to hear that, because I think that's really important as well.
And I think too, a lot of the athletes have faced discrimination or difference or whatever that may be in their schools, in their families, however that looks for them. And so asking them to step up in leadership roles is something that they may not have otherwise gotten the opportunity to do. And I think truly when we present that opportunity, the athletes go beyond our expectations. And that is so powerful because the partners have those experiences and opportunities every day, but I can't say the same of our athletes. And so this really elevates them to be in a space where they're leading. And so, yeah, it's just very powerful.
Starts at the top.
Thank you.
Starts at the top. Yeah, that's why the team is what it is, Drew. So in terms of coaching the team, you've done it for a number of years now. You've gotten, I would say, what has been probably a unique and cool experience of having your son, Colin, on the team as well. What has that experience been like, being able to have your son involved in the program and be able to coach him in Rapids Unified as well?
It is really hard for me to talk about without getting teary, but he's always been a soccer player, and then I've always been in Special Olympics, and so I was hoping that there'd be a component that he would do with the Rapids team, but it's just been very, very special to see it, one, through his eyes, and as his mom, to take on, the opportunity and just take it by the horns and go with it. It's really special for me just to watch him grow and evolve and change and build relationships and be an advocate and mentor. So I love it.
I think one of my favorite memories of Rapids Unified was Colin's performance. Actually, was it 2 years ago?
Last year.
Was it last
Salt
year
Lake.
against RSL to retain the cup, right?
Yeah.
He made at least double-digit saves, maybe 13, 14, 15 saves, and a couple like really, really good saves. It was awesome, and everybody got around, and it allowed us to win the cup, right, to keep it. That's just one of many memories that I personally have of Rapids Unified. Obviously, I love seeing you and your family on match day here for the Rapids up on the concourse. You guys always stop to say hello, and it makes my day. Do you personally have any, I know there's a lot of good memories, any favorite memories, though, of Rapids Unified?
There's so many. It happens every season, and I think what have become more special for me are the smaller moments that I wasn't expecting. Okay. I think overall, I would say my favorite is when the first team comes out to support our team. And actually, this year, we were on a walk in Salt Lake with Georgie. And Georgie, I was like, Georgie, do you know what Special Olympics is? And he's like, I have no idea. And so I was explaining what athletes are or who the athletes are and who the partners are. And he said, that is so cool. They have a disability just like me. And I was like, wow, that is really amazing. And so while that's like one of my top memories, you just forget, yeah, you're right. I think just getting the experience and having people recognize that this team is celebrated as much as the first team is really a core memory for me. But little things like that just that evolve when you least expect them. And there's just so many like that I could go on and on about. But really those little moments have become huge, huge things.
And I want to actually, because another memory that I want to add to it, and it had to do with Salt Lake as well, and it was 2 years ago. Well, who do we have on Saturday?
I know, it's always Salt Lake.
But it was 2 years ago. It was in Salt Lake. The first team had suffered a difficult defeat, and all the players came out for the unified match, and a lot of the front office were at the unified match as well, and they were in a section right behind the bench. And I just remember, I don't remember which partner scored, but one of the partners scored, and he went to do the Cristiano celebration in the corner, right? And I was kind of sitting on the bench, and a couple of the players were behind me, and we score, and it was pretty loud, the front office was celebrating, the bench was celebrating, and he goes to do it, and you could hear the excitement. And when he did, the sui or whatever, all the players did it, all the front office did it, and it was just, and we won the Rocky Mountain Cup again, and so we had, the trophy on the way back on the flight because you guys flew back, and that was so fun to hear that. And I remember Hoffa was right behind me, and Hoffa got into it, and I believe Lucas Estevez as well. It was just, that was another one of my favorite memories.
And I think those are so powerful because you don't expect it. Yeah. And it's in the moment where there's just so much joy and just amazingness of like and there's so many moments like that just continue to happen. And I keep saying I need to write a book of all of the great things that happen, because I've talked to Porg about this too, that it becomes a space where it's not about having special needs or not. It's just about being. And there's no other opportunity that I think the first team and the Rapids Unified team can come together and just celebrate. So
it's awesome.
It's magical.
Yeah, very quickly, I had one memory that I had was 2 years ago in Dallas. And I remember regarding Aiden Ramirez. I saw you were chatting to him halftime, trying to encourage him, because he's like, he can be tough on himself sometimes.
Yes.
And you were just like giving him some words of encouragement. I didn't know what you were saying, but I could see you were talking to him. And then late in the second half, he scores the game winner and wins the game for everybody. And like everybody just lost it. It was just, they couldn't help but be happy for Aiden as well, knowing how he was just being hard on himself. But then he goes and scores the goal, makes a difference for the group. Like the first team coaching staff and player, everybody just lost it and celebrated together. It's kind of emulating that moment, right? Like I think that's what Rapids Unified means to just really everybody here at this club. So I just want to slot that in, because I can visibly remember that moment when I was in Dallas with you guys for that match.
And that was really
wonderful.
special too, because he ran up and like jumped in my arms, which is so awesome. I just
It was almost storybook, and just the way you were encouraging him, and he's the one that goes on to make the difference for the group. It was almost like the perfect script you could write for a moment like that. So you mentioned that you should probably like write a book and find a way to kind of memorialize everything, Molly. But I guess I'll ask you in the moment in terms of just in general what this experience has been for you with Rapids Unified, from you like participating in within the team itself to being a head coach for a number of years now. What have you learned or cherished most in your time with Rapids Unified?
I think it's really not to take for granted what we have and the opportunities that present themselves to us. And it's also about really, life is hard. There's a lot of things that happen that life is just hard. And this really helps me stay grounded with little moments of joy. And those are the pieces that I really hope to carry. Is like, yeah, life is hard, but here's this amazing situation or something that you were like, I don't know how well this is going to go. And it turns out so well, and it's so joyful. And just to keep that at the forefront of really who we are as humans, and to remember that there is good in the world, and there are good things happening, and there are good people who care about this population. And really just come back to that joy, like that happiness, and it doesn't cost anything to find it. And how can we continue to have others look for that too? I think
very well said.
That's a good reminder.
Very well said.
Good reminder.
How much are you looking forward to Saturday, by the way? Because that's last game of the season, and it's the big one.
I'm really excited about Saturday. Colin and I have been talking a lot, and he's like, "Mom, I'm really nervous." And I said, well, why are you nervous? He's like, I really hate to lose. So
I wonder where he gets that from.
I know. Healthy competition. But I think I am looking forward to it. I'm also very nervous because this team has been working really hard. And we lost our first game in Salt Lake in May. We lost against Austin in a later goal. And so to have some success this weekend on the scoreboard, there'll be a lot of things that happen. But I'm excited, and I hope that we can put a few away. So
I think we will.
I think we will.
We're
but
excited.
I would say even regardless of the result, Molly, and I think you just spoke to that during this interview that we had with you, where like it's more than just the results, or more than just having fun as a part of this Rapids Unified experience. It's what do you take away from it, or not even what you take away. What are you going to contribute to it as well? And we've mentioned time and time again with Drew and myself on the pod, whether we're talking about players or coaching staff or front office, whoever, that we pride ourselves on not just having folks who are good at what they do, but they're good people as well. And I think that very much includes you, because we can have Rapids Unified, but you can't just kind of plug anyone in there and expect things to kind of just come together. You need the right people to make that happen. And I think it's been no coincidence that whether it's success in terms of results, whether it's how athletes and partners have felt with their experience coming out of it at the end of the season, I think that's testament to how you go about your business and how you manage the team and everybody, because of all the different personalities and ways to kind of manage different people, right? Everybody's different, and you seem to find a way to manage that with every single person that you've had on the Rapids Unified squad when you've been coaching. And so it's thankfully you're a testament to what we try to do here, of just like bringing in good people, excellent people, I would say, at the club. So all the best going into this weekend. Shout out to Colin quickly, by the way, because we love Colin out here as well.
The brick wall.
Yeah, we hope he's going to be a brick wall this Saturday. So shout out to Colin. But thank you so much, Molly, for be able to take the time to join us and looking ahead to the Rapids Unified match, closing out their season, and it's the big one as well.
It is a big one. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. And so don't make sure like you guys stay after the first team match as well. Stick around after the first team match to be able to watch Molly and co, the Rapids Unified squad, hopefully lift and retain Rocky Mountain Cup.
Thank you.
All right, Drew. Big one. The big one going into this Saturday that we're going to do a preview of, which is the Colorado Rapids taking on Real Salt Lake, their eternal rivals, their Rocky Mountain Cup rivals. So, as I mentioned, those two sides will be playing this Saturday, August 29th at 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. I know I always mentioned you should come to the stadium regardless of the situation here. Whoever we play here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, if there's any game that you come to, it has to be this one.
This is the one.
This is the one that you absolutely have to come to the stadium to support your Burgundy boys to hopefully retain Rocky Mountain Cup and keep it on the right side of the Rockies. Let's do a quick team comparison, Drew, between the two sides. So in terms of records, RSL is 8-4-8, sitting in 8th place, just below the Colorado Rapids, who in 7th place, who are 9-1-11. Points, RSL have 28, as well as the Colorado Rapids on 28. Goals, RSL have scored 34, Colorado have scored 30. Goals against, 32 against RSL, 28 against Colorado. And average possession for both sides, RSL 49.6% versus Colorado's 55.5%. So looking at RSL, Drew, they've only won 2 of their last 21 away fixtures. So we've established multiple times that going on the road is difficult.
Yep.
They've struggled. It's been very difficult for them to go on the road and get any points, quite frankly, with only 2 of their last 21 away matches ending up in wins for them, walking away with all 3 points. They're winless in their last 8 away matches in regular season play. Also, they scored 12 goals in the last 5 matches across all competitions to kind of go against that. So they can find the back of the net, Drew. That they're very capable, and we're going to get into that a little bit with some of the players that they have to do that. And then in terms of a signing that they made, actually, just a few weeks ago, Saba Lobojanice, getting him from Atlanta United on July 1st, so almost a month ago. More than a month ago, actually, sorry. I'm still in July for some reason. Sure, man, time flies. So Saba Lobojanice coming over from Atlanta United on July 1st. He has 3 assists in 5 substitute appearances since joining the club.
Good player.
We've seen that obviously he can do it from the start in Atlanta United, but clearly can come off the bench if he needs to contribute to RSL. So Drew, just a few stats, stats here to kind of give a little context as to where RSL sits right now. They've obviously brought in Saba Lobojanice, which I think is a good signing for them, considering the way they want to play and how dynamic and quick he can be in transition, particularly. So how do you see RSL coming into this match, especially as I said, this is the big one for Rocky Mountain Cup with all. It's all on the line on Saturday against RSL. How do you see them coming into this match here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park?
Yeah, Mike, I love you, but I don't care about anything that you just said.
Fair enough, because I didn't really care about anything I said regarding it because it was RSL. But
I don't care about any of those numbers. I don't care about the Lobojanice signing, although he's a good player. This is a match where, two teams extremely comparable in all those numbers that you did say, even though I don't care about those numbers, right? I feel like usually, when we're about to play RSL, one of them is considerably higher up on the standings or different runs of form or whatever, but this is, they're very tightly together in a bunch of these stats and everything. But I'm going to go back to Pablo Mastroeni's, a couple of his quotes going into their Leagues Cup match midweek against Leon, which is actually tonight at this stadium. So they need to use our stadium. That's cool. But
I won't say anything.
Here's a couple words that he used: duels, jabs, punches, a boxer. Right? Does this not sound like Pablo Mastroeni and RSL?
That's Pablo to a T.
It is.
Be it as a player in the past or currently as a coach, Drew.
Yeah, and so I think this is what we have to expect. A team that's going to come in and during match congestion, because they are in Leagues Cup, they've had to rotate their squad recently. They've had to test their depth, and they've done pretty well ultimately. But for me, it's you have to have your mentality and your attitude right in a big derby match like this, because you know that RSL is going to bring that, right? And if we want to keep Rocky Mountain Cup here in Colorado, we have to win this match, right? And so it sets up for an exciting match, a fun match against a team like RSL, who they play in transition, but it's not like direct passes, long ball. They're not just attacking the deep space. They're very progressive with their passing. They break lines, and so that's going to be key for the Rapids to keep an eye on when RSL have the ball. But RSL look like RSL to me, and the Rapids need to be ready for it.
Yeah. Last year they was like their first year under Pablo ever since he joined the club in 2021, where like they struggled a little bit. Granted, there was, be it players outgoings or ingoings, things didn't work, but they're kind of back to normal, if you will, like in terms of just being a constant threat and a nuisance for a lot of teams because of the way they play, as you mentioned, and be it in transition or just solely in possession. Dangerous nonetheless. They have shown that they are dangerous under Pablo Mastroeni. Looking at players to watch, Drew, so who on RSL are you going to be looking out for? Who do the Rapids need to be mindful of going into the weekend against RSL?
Well, I think when you talk about RSL and players to watch, you have to mention Diego Luna for me, who's back healthy. I know he's missed some time. Obviously was, missed out on the World Cup, which I think was a big loss for, as much as I hate to admit it, missing out on the World Cup was a big loss for the U.S. But especially in a big rivalry match like this, I think who's been there for a bit now, is somebody that will try to drive who RSL is against the Rapids. And obviously he's got, I think 5 goals, 6 assists in league play this year, having missed a decent amount of time, seems to be in pretty good form right now. But the one that I really think the Rapids need to keep an eye on, the one that's really in form for RSL is Sergi Solans. Really good player, 11 goals all competitions, 9 goals in league play. He's a goal poacher. I think he really plays well with how RSL want to play and attack, which is, again, breaking lines with passes. He can get on the end of through balls. He can get on the end of crosses. He can isolate defenders in 1v1 situations. He can get on the end of rebounds and really just, he is their most informed player. I think they've got some other really good options in Gila Vogie, who's the new signing this last offseason. They are without Justin Glad right now, which is big. I think he's been the leader of their group, especially in the back for 8-10 years now, maybe even longer than that. But I think that combination of Diego Luna and Solans, the Rapids need to know where they are at all times. I thought we did a really good job against Diego Luna last season here, where we took him out of his rhythm, made him have to drop really deep to get on the ball. Obviously that was a different team, but it just shows when you take him away, we shut them out here last season. You have a good opportunity to do that, but Solans is the one that the back line especially needs to keep an eye on. Yeah,
he's physical presence, but can also move. Like he's got some pace to him as well. So that's a good shout. Diego Luna is a fairly obvious one. He's a known quantity in this league,
right?
But Sergi Solans is someone I think who's flown under the radar as it pertains to the league of names to kind of keep an eye out on, particularly with RSL. So I think that's a good shout, Drew, just because of the danger he's presented ever since he's joined RSL and gotten some playing time with them. Like he's given Pablo every reason to start for them and have the effect that he's clearly had on the team. On my side, Drew, in terms of players to watch for the Colorado Rapids, not going to just pick one player. I'm just going to go with the Colorado Rapids midfield. Reason being that you're just going to need to break up what RSL does, whether it's them being in possession or, as you mentioned before, Drew, the way they like to play in between lines in transition, right? Because when RSL, especially in transition, RSL, they love to move quickly in transition in between the lines. So that's where the Rapids midfield, be it your rest offense or if you're defending outrightly because you find RSL in sole possession of the ball, they're going to have to be on it against what is a dynamic and aggressive side, because of the player profiles that they have in a Diego Luna or just in general, the squad that they have, the way Pablo wants his team to play, and be it with intangibles or just the style of play. The Rapids midfield is going to be very, very vital in this match in terms of working on both sides of the ball, whether they can break RSL's rhythm. If you have to take the foul here or there, take the yellow card in the right moments, find a moment to do that. If not, possess the ball, which is something that we obviously love to do. The Colorado Rapids love to do under Matt Wells. Just retain the ball so that you provide more ample opportunity to go to goal, minimize the time that RSL has the ball. Because at some point or another, the dam will break if you insist the issue, right? And we know that the Rapids can put themselves in good positions, and hopefully the Rapids midfield can be the catalyst of that to propel the Rapids forward to find and create good opportunities on goal and hopefully finish them and see out RSL at the end of the night. So Rapids midfield is who I'm looking at going into Saturday.
I like that. I think that's a good call. I think, especially against a team like RSL, because, when we went there back, earlier this year, they were able to play through our lines, and we just weren't quite compact enough. And they had a good performance there right after we scored early, ended up losing 2-1. But I think a lot of that had to do with just we weren't compact enough. Our energy in defense wasn't quite what we needed it to be, didn't quite match the level of their energy with the ball. And maybe even more so here where they have match congestion, do they sit in even a little bit deeper and then try to hit in transition, again, not transition in terms of being direct, but just playing through you. Now you have an opportunity to win the ball even higher up the field. And this is going to lead me to my key, actually. My key of the match. Is thank you. Do you know the show, The Price is Right?
Yes.
Everybody knows this show, right?
Oh, yeah.
For me, Saturday night, The Press is right. The press is right.
I like that, Drew.
If we get our press right, if we can put them on the clock, if we can take away those progressive passing, those line splitting passes, and not give them time to set up and not give them the ability to play through us, if we can stay compact, if we can, press with the right energy, for me, that's going to set up really well for us to not only stop them from doing what they want to do, but like I just said, win the ball higher up the field, get into dangerous opportunities, and score goals that way. And I think just as importantly as getting the press right is your duels. In a big rivalry match like this, your 50-50 duels, your aerial duels, just that, that grit, that grind, that roll the sleeves up and workman-like mentality that these Rapids players are capable of, and maybe setting that tone early, right? I think you set yourself up well in the duels and the press for my key.
Yeah. No, I love that, Drew. Because I feel like it's going to tie in a little bit to my key, actually, in terms of, I'm not going to go with anything tactical or anything like that, but something intangible. Just because of the fact that this is a derby match, this is a rivalry match between the Rapids and RSL. There are going to be moments throughout the match, and maybe even towards the end of the match, if it comes to that you're just going to have to show that you want it more. You mentioned Pablo with some of his quotes that he had, like that's Pablo to a T, and that's what he wants his team to transmit as well. The same energy of just being gritty, fighters, aggressive, dirty if you have to be, right? And I think the Rapids are capable of doing that as well, knowing that Matt Wells likes players with some personality and grit to them. We were just talking about Luke Williams earlier in the pod. Someone like that who, if you need to, you just step in and just leave a mark on somebody and let them know that they have to deal with you the entire game. So whether that's a Luke Williams in the back line or anyone in midfield, anywhere on the pitch, let RSL know that they have to have a fight ahead of them if they want to be able to get Rocky Mountain Cup off the Rapids' hands. But for the Rapids, I think just in general, there's going to be moments where you're just going to have to show you want it more. Do you go in, get there towards 50-50 balls, second balls, be the first in the air for aerial balls, whatever the case may be, just show that you want it more. And sometimes those moments could be the difference between winning and losing, especially in a derby match. So for me, the Colorado Rapids just need to show that they want it more, which is, again, easier said than done because RSL is going to do the exact same thing under Pablo Mastroeni.
Yeah, listen, we know 100% that the Rapids will have a good game plan going into this match because that is Matt Wells' bread and butter, is preparing his side for the opponents that they're playing against. So we know we're going to have that. The resiliency, the wanting it more, that is something that sounds old school, but will span the test of time, right? Is rolling up the sleeves and going to work. And you talk about a match where you need to roll up the sleeves and go to work with your game plan, of course, right there in your mind as well. This is one of them. This is the derby match. This is Rocky Mountain Cup. This is late August, but I don't care if it's late February or early December. Like, this is an important match, and this is the one where that humility to go out there and show that you want it more and that you're desperate for all 3 points. For me, you put that combination together with what your style of play is going to be, what your game plan is going to be, and your opportunities of winning go up tenfold, you know? And if you don't do it, it's because you've played against a team that has just managed to get one past you on the day. So I'm looking forward to this. I always loved this rivalry as a player. I still love it as all the things that I am right now, you know, as a podcaster, as a developmental coach, as an ambassador, like
Rapids legend.
Stop it. This is the one for me that that gets me going the most.
Yeah, man. I'm maybe I can't appreciate it the same way as you being like an outsider of sorts, like you, because you've lived and breathed it literally. You've gone through it, but I still get. I just get amped up even talking about it because I'm like, for me, it's just I just want to beat them, man.
Yeah.
I want to like. This is selfish, but like a 4-0 over zone, just like walk them off the park and let
5-0.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Like, it takes me back to 2020, actually, but that was before I got to the club. Yeah, you were still playing way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
It's crazy to think that was 6 years ago. Anyways, but nonetheless, yeah, I just get amped up anytime we have RSL coming up, whether we're going there or obviously we get to have them here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park and take them on, and hopefully that the Rapids are retaining Rocky Mountain Cup at the end of the day, because that's like we said, it's the big one, and it's the big one for a reason with this rivalry match against them. So plenty to look forward to on Saturday, Joe.
And I think it's great, and I've talked about this before. You have a busy stretch right now for both sides, right? But you have a little bit extra to play for in an August match where, yes, every game, of course, there's 3 points on the line, and it doesn't matter the competition, whether it's an Open Cup, whether it's a Leagues Cup, whether it's a league match, like, to have a little bit of extra, to have a trophy to win. This is a trophy match. This is a match where the team who wins gets to lift the trophy afterwards in front of their fans, right? That's important. That obviously, but that needs to get you that needs to get you a little bit extra motivated, right? And again, at the end of August, what a wonderful time to have it.
Yeah, and rest assured that like it's not lost on the players and the coaching staff. Reggie particularly had mentioned it in a post game press conference after San Diego, saying like this is the biggest match of the season. Yeah. Like, so best believe that this is not lost on the players and the coaching staff. And like we said, it's, you know, both teams are going to come in with their own game plans in terms of on the football side of things, but sometimes there's going to be moments, or best believe there's going to be moments.
Yep.
There's going to be a crunching 50-50 tackle. There's going to be someone who throws something. There's going to be moments. There's going to be plenty of moments to look forward to. So whether you're a Rapids fan, RSL fan, or even just a neutral like an MLS fan, this is definitely a match to tune into, especially just the way both sides approach the game, how aggressive and front-footed they want to be. This is one to watch, man. Regardless of styles of play or anything like that. You know, for us, we have a stake in it, right? Just we want the Rapids to be on the right side of this rivalry. But this is going to be a very, very, I think, pretty fiery match. I think it has potential for that.
It's so important to RSL that they've asked to play in our stadium.
They wanted a little preview.
The game before, so they can get used to it.
Yeah,
you know?
They wanted a little preview. Crazy how it works like that. Drew, I was gonna say, what was it, a couple weeks? I was just talking to you off camera about it. We're like, I was gonna say, maybe we get you back in the team as well, man. Like, there was a drill. What was it, 2 weeks ago at training? You were involved in a drill. You were defending. Like, guys were like taking shots from close. Some of the players were taking shots from fairly close to the goal, and defenders, you being one of them, were expected to come in and just like whatever you need to do, just block the shot. You were flying. You were here. You were there. Like, you were like putting your body on the line. I was like, are we sure Drew's done playing, or do we need to sign him to another contract?
How long ago was that? Like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? I still haven't recovered. So that's how we know.
So here's my proposition. We'll need to hire like 6 massage therapists and like 3 sports performance folks just for you. Just so we can have you back in the first team and like doing what you're doing. I wouldn't be against it.
It's kind of nice doing this too, you know? Like
not wearing your body down is actually pretty nice as well.
I'm 42.
Dude, you're old.
I know, man. I know. My boys tell me every day. They're like, "You're gray. You're old." I'm like, guys, be nice to me.
We love you, viejo.
I do a lot for y'all.
You do a lot for everybody.
Oh,
you do a lot for everybody, brother.
It.
Yeah, but it doesn't go unrecognized. Drew, as we said it over and over, kind of ad nauseum, this is the one. This is the big game, the one that you circle on your calendar and clearly mark to know that this is the game that you're looking forward to all season, especially with Rocky Mountain Cup on the line. So, Colorado Rapids versus Real Salt Lake happening this Saturday, August 29th, with a 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Like I said, I always invite people to come to Dick's Sporting Goods Park when we have games here to support your Burgundy Boys. If there is any game that you should come to, it's this one.
It's my dad's birthday, and he will be here.
All right.
At Dick's Sporting Goods. You talk about old man. My dad is celebrating his 70-something birthday here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park on Saturday night, August 29th.
Happy early birthday to the father of
Pops.
of
We call him Pops.
Of Pops.
Yep.
Of Drew Moore's dad. So happy early birthday to you. Hopefully we're delivering 3 points so that you can celebrate with your son, with the team.
Yep.
Just celebrate good vibes all around. Celebrate Rocky Mountain Cup. Plenty to look forward to on Saturday, Drew. Plenty to look forward to. So again, this Saturday, August 29th, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Your Colorado Rapids looking to retain Rocky Mountain Cup against RSL. That's it, Drew. I don't know how. Just close out with that.
Well, we got to save our energy for Saturday.
Yeah, especially you, because you get around a little slower than most folks from here to one place to the next. So.
What can you do?
But listen, that's why we're going to get all these massage therapists and sports performance folks to make sure you're good to go.
Sounds good.
And potentially get you a contract. I'm gonna push for it.
No, don't.
All right, that's gonna do it, everybody.
Yep.
Like that's the end of this show, this edition of the Colorado Rapids podcast. Looking ahead to a very big match on the weekend here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. My thanks to producer Miles, taking care of us behind the scenes as always. Of course, my good friend and resident Rapids legend, Drew Moore. I've been your host, Mike Ravolo. Have a good week, everybody, and make sure you show up here to Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Like I said, it's the big one. You got to be here for Rocky Mountain Cup. Have a good week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.